Hey folks, welcome back for another build video, and yet another build with the Vile mask. So we're revisiting the Vile mask so quickly at the request of user Thick99. They asked if we could try this build with Ongoing Directive instead of Eclipse Protocol. They're trying to make a build around the Vile mask, Ongoing Directive, and the Scorpio shotgun, and I thought that sounded like a really fun idea. So full credit to them for the suggestion, and thank you for the comment. That's definitely part of why I started doing these, is for the community engagement. I love to hear what you guys have. I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the fun build ideas, but together we create something really cool. So with that off the top, let's get into the build. So again, we're working from the start of they wanted to use the Scorpio, the Vile mask, and Ongoing Directive. So obviously we're going to have status effects with Septic Shock, Toxic Delivery, and the Hollow Point rounds from Ongoing Directive. So I wanted to add a little bit more into that mix with the Jetstream Flamethrower. So we've gone with the Firewall specialization for a couple of reasons. The primary reason being the Striker ballistic shield that it provides and the added damage bonus per enemy that really helps elevate the Scorpio shotgun's weapon damage. And then in addition to that, the Fiery Response talent, where on armor break you apply burn to enemies within 5 meters, was a really cool way to add another status effect, and also with a shield build where you're running around when your armor does break, it's a great way to give yourself a few seconds to run away and apply an armor kit. So the primary weapon, as we previously mentioned, is going to be the Scorpio shotgun, same as the Vile build that we recently put out. And again, it's for the same reason, the lovely Septic Shock talent, Poison, Disorient, Shock, and 20% additional damage are all fantastic. So for our secondary weapon, I went with the Carnage named light machine gun, which has the perfect Sadist talent on there. That works really well on a couple of levels. Obviously with Ongoing Directive, you're going to have the Hollow Point rounds more often than not, which apply bleed to an enemy. And then secondarily, I like the light machine gun pairing with the shotgun here because it covers the mid to long range, whereas the shotgun covers the short range. So most of the time you're going to be running around with the Scorpio and your shield out. That's all you're going to be doing. But if you're running in a group, or if you're running solo and you need to sit back and take some mid to long range shots, you can sit back with the light machine gun, give yourself 135 rounds of Parabellum ammo on this weapon, and just go to town. For the sidearm, we've gone with the TDI card custom. It's kind of my go-to if I don't have a particular sidearm I think pairs well with a build. In this case, the +1 skill tier is nice if you need to give yourself another shield tier or another skill tier for that jammer pulse. Another viable option here would be the Firestarter, which is the Firewall specific sidearm. The primer rounds talent would pair well with the Firestarter's Fiery Rush, along with the flamethrower that you can pull out once you've acquired ammo for that. For the mask, we have Vile again here. Toxic Delivery is just such a great talent to pair with a status effect build. And then we've gone with Armor on Kill here to give ourselves a little bit of armor. You're going to have a lot of kills flying around with various status effects. Getting armor back on each one is quite a bonus. For the backpack, I've gone with Anarchist's Cookbook, which is the named Golan Gear backpack. The plus 10% status effects is fantastic. We've got hazard protection and status effects. And then for the talent there, we have Perfectly Wicked. You are almost constantly going to be applying status effects, so that plus 18% weapon damage is also going to be near constant. The perfect version of Wicked, increasing that from 20 to 27 seconds, doesn't hurt either. For our chest piece, we have our first piece of Ongoing Directive. We'll run through it now. 2 pieces gives us 15% status effects. 3 pieces gives 30% reload speed. And then at 4 pieces, we get the Rules of Engagement talent. So I will note, using Scorpio here is a lot of fun, but when you're running in a group, you don't get the full benefit of Rules of Engagement. As you'll read there, half of your clip goes to the rest of the party in terms of hollow point rounds. Given that Scorpio is only a 7-round magazine, you're only giving your party 4 rounds per person. Obviously something like a light machine gun or even an assault rifle gives you a lot more rounds per person in the party. So when you're running in a group here, you might be using Carnage more often. Definitely running solo, Scorpio is fantastic. You're killing status affected enemies fast enough that only getting 7 hollow point rounds per kill is not an issue at all. And then take note there that the hollow point ammo amplifies weapon damage by 20%. That's an extra 20% on each shotgun round. And then as we mentioned earlier, We've got weapon damage, status effects, and armor on kill in this slot as well. And then we've gone here with the chest talent of Parabellum rounds, which increases the hollow point ammo weapon damage amplification to 35%. And this was weighed against the backpack talent of Trauma Specialist, which increases the duration of bleed status effects by 50% and all bleed damage by 100%. Well, that's also a good skill. Between the two, I definitely felt it was better to have the 15% weapon damage increase, or the increased bleed duration and damage. While bleed is a great status effect to stack on top of all of the other ones you're going to provide here, bleed on its own isn't the most powerful status effect. So increasing the damage of your bleed isn't as beneficial as getting 18% weapon damage from Perfectly Wicked, in my opinion. And then we will round this out very quickly. Our last three pieces are also Ongoing Directive with a weapon damage core and status effects rolled in the attribute slot. And for our skills here, we have the Jammer Pulse and the Striker Ballistic Shield. The Jammer Pulse is a carryover from the other Vile build. As I said in that video, the Jammer Pulse is a great skill to pair with Vile because the Disrupt status effect does proc Toxic Delivery. And then for a bit of a change up here, we have the Striker Ballistic Shield, taking advantage of all of the increased damage that we've been able to build with the Scorpio shotgun. Went with the Firewall variant here to give ourselves, as you can see there, 12% damage bonus per enemy, and that's within the buff angle of 45 degrees. As you'll see in the video, when you have the shield out, it will indicate what that cone looks like, and if you have a number of enemies within that cone, you get an additional 12% damage per enemy. And then I wanted to jump back real quickly to mention a variant for our first skill here. If you really want to lean into the Firewall build, you could go with the Firestarter Chem Launcher instead of the Jammer Pulse. And that's really going to work well with the Firewall's burn talents, specifically the plus 20% burn duration provided by the enriched magnesium formula. And just like the Jammer Pulse, this will also proc Toxic Delivery along with the burn status effect. So I just want to point that out. Either one of the skills used in the first Vile build, you could absolutely sub in here. So that's this build. As always, try it out for yourself. Let me know what variations you work with. And a big thank you again to Thick99 for suggesting elements of this build. Hope this is what you were looking for. Hope to see you in the comments of this video as well. And I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Detecting additional hostile contacts.